Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of TADTalk. This is episode 99. We're one away from 100. How the heck would we do that? Anyway, I'm joined once again by the jacket man, Nick. How are you? Oh, you got fired. That's quite appropriate today.
I figured.
Was that deliberate?
It was deliberate, yeah.
Yeah. Why was it appropriate? Because our special guest is, well, you're going to escape into a world you've never known. Check this out.
Is here. That was extraordinary.
Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Well, that video does not lie. It's going to be amazing. Welcome our special guest, Matt Johnson.
Guys, how are you? How are you guys? Who's that guy on that video? He looks really good. Who's that guy?
Yeah, have you ever seen him in real life? Ouch.
I see every morning. I see him every morning trying to escape from his bed in the morning. His back hurts. His eyes hurt. Just yeah.
Where are you right now, Matt? Where in the world?
Right now, I'm in Chilliwack, BC, which is near Vancouver in British Columbia, Canada. This is where I live with my lovely wife and my little dog Yogi, and we're here just resting it up while we're waiting for the world to get back to normal.
No kidding. I love that part of the world too. It's beautiful up there. Obviously, the accent is not from Canada. It's from Northern England. Which part?
I was born and raised in a little town called Rotherham near a big city called Sheffield. And if you don't know that, think Manchester. And if you don't know that, then I give up after that point. But yeah, so I'm from up north, born and raised till I was 21. I didn't leave there until I was 21 years old. That's when I started traveling a million trillion years ago. And all my family's still over there, actually, so I get back quite often.
Are they in Rotherham or Sheffield?
A little bit of both. My dad and brother live in Rotherham. My mom lives out near York, and my sister lives near Nottingham. So they kind of spread out a little bit now, all over the place. Yeah.
No, brilliant. Of course, I grew up. I was born in Manchester, but grew up from I think the age of 9 until about 17 in Glossop. So that's just the Snake Pass or the Woodhead Pass away from Sheffield.
This Snake Pass, one of the most notorious roads in the world.
Crazy.
I mean, that's a dangerous road. A Woodhead Pass. You remember that isn't that supposed to be haunted? Woodhead Pass.
Well, yeah. Well, and we used to always take Woodhead. Snake Pass was frightening to drive over in like January if it had been snowing. That's a scary road.
Yeah, Woodhead Pass. I spent a lot of time. Well, I do now because, I mean, usually I go back to England at least once, twice a year to see my family, and I usually link it in with actually, one of the ships that you guys put me on went from New York to Southampton. I got off, and you guys were kind enough to kind of spread my flights out, visited my family. So
good.
Yeah, I'm always driving over that. You know, you don't know you're home until you leave Manchester Airport and you're going over the Woodhead Pass. That's when I'm home.
And for any American viewers who are watching, the only way you'll know the Woodhead Pass, it became notorious because of the infamous Moors murders with Myra Hindley back in the 50s and 60s. That happened on there. But we won't go down that far. We're going to start TAD Talk as we always do with 3 completely random questions that have got nothing to do with the guest, but we're going to get inside the mind of Matt Johnson right now. Over to you, Nick.
Oh, God. Okay.
All right, first question. You have the ability to immediately master a new skill. The only catch is you have to sacrifice a skill that you already have. What skill do you want, and what skill are you sacrificing?
I suppose if I had to sacrifice a skill, it would be the ability to burp on command. No, I really can't. Listen. So the ability to get rid of that, which makes you absolutely no money or fame. You know, if I were to gain a skill, now this is a weird one. You guys are going to think this is weird, but if I was based on what I do, but if I was to gain a skill, it would be to be able to hold my breath longer, because when I do my underwater escapes, a lot of people think, oh, this guy can hold his breath for 4 or 5 minutes. It's absolutely not true. I can do maybe a minute comfortably. Everything after that is a fight, which is why my escapes look so real. So that is the skill I'd gain, but I'm just too lazy, too old, and I've got too much belly fat now with this lockdown to even want to practice harder. So that would be the skill I gain, is to hold my breath longer. That would help.
Yeah, Nick does something. He doesn't go underwater, but he holds a note in the Piano Man show, which is about 1:20, something like that. But it sounds like you're underwater for a long time fighting it, right? So
Nick would be in my water tank, and he'd be the guy going, like, what is he doing? Is he breathing out slowly? That's his skill. What is he doing right now? Just be bubbles. Just bubbles.
It's bubbles coming out. What skill would you give up and regain, or have new? I don't know.
Well, you would gain English.
Yes, I would.
I don't know what I would gain. I would probably gain the skill to eat whatever I want and never put on anything in weight.
I'm sure that's a skill.
I'm changing my skill. I changed my skill. I want that skill because you don't put any weight on until you get into your 40s, and then suddenly you've been telling everybody, "Oh, I don't put weight on. I can just eat what I want." And then you get into your 40s, and you're like, "What happened?
No
It's
kidding.
not true anymore."
Yeah, you're right there. Yeah, talking to the converted there. What did you?
I'd probably just get rid of like the 2 French words I know. I'm never going to need them.
Okay.
You know,
that's good.
It's an unusual and unhelpful skill that I have.
Well, I would get rid of my skill to cook, because the world can live without my beans on toast or egg on toast. So I'd lose that. But I would, and appropriate for this show, I would love to gain the skill of being able to manipulate cards. Honestly, I'm not just saying it because Matt's on. I can't shuffle cards without dropping the pack. It's ridiculous.
You need these. You need big mitts like this.
Well, I got big hands. I'm not sure they're as big as yours, but play piano. But I'm like, I'd look at card tricks, and I'm really close to the guys doing close-up magic, and I'm going, okay, I know that.
You'll love this, Terry. Watch this. Can you see my fingers?
Yeah.
Okay, watch this. I'm going to get some cards, right?
All right.
Watch these cards.
Okay. That's ridiculous. Look at this.
It's not magic. They're just coming out of this poster back here. It's got a little door in it. I just pull them out there. But you know, this is like years of a misspent youth here. You see, that's why you hire us. You know what's funny? Yeah. When I started doing escapes on TV, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, but I've always been a magician, a mentalist, all that stuff. I've done it, an improv comedian. I've done it for years. That's my livelihood. And then about 3 years ago, I started doing escapes. And now it's like I've made this rod for my own back, because now people want to see me do this and die. Nobody wants to see me do this. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Well, I'm looking at that. I'm looking at it and I'm going, okay, all right, hang on. There's a reflection in the glass. I'm going to see how he does it. And I can't see anything in the reflection neither.
It's got an anti-reflective coating on it. I insist on that in case I'm ever doing a Zoom interview in front of my wall here. So you'll never see it. You'll never see it.
That's brilliant. Well, that's what I would have. All right, next question.
That was the first question.
That was only the first question. Our 3-minute section is an 8-minute section. That's all right.
20 minutes in. 20. We'll never invite Matt Johnson again on this show. Interview was 23 hours and 27 minutes.
All right, question number 2. If you could bring back one object, product, restaurant, store from the past that has since become obsolete, which would it be?
I think a store. I don't know if it's obsolete, but it's not there anymore. One of my greatest memories as a kid was a store in Rotherham called Cooper's Toy Shop. Cooper's Toy Shop was just this amazing 3-floor shop full of toys, right? It was toys, and then it was like model airplanes and trains, and then you went up on the top floor and it was all like balsa wood, so you can make your own stuff. That for me was like a magic place, and that's one of my earliest memories of that feeling of real magic. You know what I mean? Like this wonder of being a kid and going in there with £5 in your hand. So Cooper's Toy Shop.
I like that.
That's awesome.
I tell you what I would. I've just thought of this, and this is going to mean nothing to our American viewers, but everything to the people in the north of England. And this is so.
But not me. But not me.
No,
it's not going to mean anything to me.
It will you, mate. And it's so unhealthy. But I would love to bring back the fish and chip shop that cooked the fish and chips in dripping, like the old-fashioned way. God, there's no taste like it. Do you remember that?
The old days where fish and chips were served in newspaper and nobody cared if you got newsprint ink on your food and your hands, right?
That's right.
Now it's all served in fake newspaper that's printed on infallible ink that doesn't like run off on your food. Or where's the fun in that? Like, well, as you can see, I ate a lot of fish and chips.
Well, they don't not only use fake paper, but they use fake potatoes and fake fish now. So it's not quite the same.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. When you ate a fish and it got bones in it and you almost died from that, that put hairs on your chest.
Absolutely. And obviously on your chin.
Yeah, again, fish and chips. I'm a walking advertisement for fish and chips right here.
There you go.
Oh my God.
What's this third question you got?
See, okay, so we usually tell all 3 questions to the guest beforehand so they have a chance to think of the answers, but I deliberately left out the third question beforehand. So this is right off the bat, really just on the ball here. You got to think of the answer right away, all right?
Okay.
All right, question number 3. Your favorite restaurant is in danger of closing down forever. The only way to save it is to shave off your facial hair. Would you do it?
No.
Immediately.
I'm willing to eat crappy food for the rest of my life, but I ain't willing to get rid of this.
We saw, while we were doing our research and stuff, we found a photo of Matt without his facial hair, and he looks like a Bond villain.
Really?
Yeah.
Do we have it?
I don't know if we do. I don't know. If we do, you'll see it, and it'll be life changing. You know how some people.
Nick, just put your hand over that pink picture there. Just cover up the beard. And yeah, I've got the eyebrow.
My hand is not big enough for that.
That's true. That's true. That is a lot of beard. That is a lot of man right there.
Oh, that's
crazy.
Great.
Well, it's great.
I do look like a Bond villain in those pictures, though. Don't I? I do kids' parties and bar mitzvahs. I never get invited to either. Can you imagine if that guy showed up at your front door? I'm here to entertain Billy.
Just put on a Russian accent, too. That'll really seal the deal, I think. Yeah. I'm here for the birthday party. Let me in.
Yeah.
Well, it's great having you on the show, Matt. But
it's a pleasure.
You just touched on the kids there. There's an interesting question. Obviously,
can you back what you just set up? I just touched on the kids. I'm not even gonna. I can't even believe I made you back that up. That's not appropriate, Terry. But carry on.
Well, you're obviously an entertainer, and I know that you're a great guy and friendly guy. But have you ever had a gig looking like you do right now, where the person who bought you or that was for the party took one look at you and ran away, or something similar?
Well, I'm pretty sure after you saying I touched on kids that I'll never do a kids party again. But have people that have bought me? So many people have paid for my services. In the day, like Nick said, I was this squeaky clean. I had a little bit of a goatee here, but that was it. I didn't have any tattoos. 3 or 4 years ago, no tattoos on my arms or anything, no beard, squeaky clean boy next door on medication. And I just, I used to do kids parties, used to be a balloon artist, balloon twister.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know if you've ever seen my balloon. I used to have this character called the Cool Balloon Guy, and I made like Harley Davidsons, and in fact, I might be able to pull up a photo. But yeah, so in the early days that I started kind of moving from that into what you see now, I had to turn up to some birthday parties, kind of, I remember the first time I got tattoos on my hands, and I was doing kids shows, and I would always try and hide my hands, because I was really embarrassed because what happens, right? People make a predetermination on you based on how you look, right?
Yeah.
And for me, it's always been this kind of juxtaposed, because I look a certain way, and then the second I open my mouth, people go, "Oh, he's a nice British guy. He actually sounds really intelligent," which we all do with British accents. But so in that kind of interim, I found that really difficult, and I could see on some parents' faces, because my old promo on my website didn't look like this. So when they'd open the door and I'd be like, "I'm here for Billy's birthday," you kind of see the parents going, "We didn't hire some, badass looking lumberjack. What's going on here?"
No kidding.
But,
well, of course.
This is back. Look at this. This is back when I used to do make stuff out of balloons and stuff.
Oh my gosh! So you mean like a full?
That's out of balloons.
Yeah, I used to actually look. I used to travel the world as a balloon artist. So I go to places like Dubai. This was me. You can see my T-shirt. That's the Cool Balloon Guy. the cool balloon guy, the rock star of balloon. Oh, there's the Bond villain. There's the Bond villain picture.
It's Vin Diesel.
But I was the rock star of balloon twisting. Yeah, and so I used to. My kind of mantra was, I'm going to do lineup work for kids making balloons, but I'm going to do it super fast, and I'm going to create things like this, and I'm going to tell jokes and have hip hop music playing, and that's what I did, and I traveled the world doing it. Actually, I kind of got bored of magic, and then before kind of this happened, this rebranding of myself, in between was the Cool Balloon Guy, where I said, well, what can I do as an entertainer that will be fun for me, where I can use my skills of performing that's different, and that's kind of what I did. So there was this kind of gradual progression kind of thing
wow.
into what I do now, yeah.
So your wife, how long have you been with your wife?
Too long. Way too. Well, no. I've actually been married 3 times.
Did the transition from squeaky clean to monster have anything to do with the previous 2?
Yeah, one marriage was squeaky, one marriage was balloon twister, one marriage was bearded. No. It's funny because in my show, actually, especially on the cruise ships, which you guys send me out to all the time, I always walk out and I say, I've been happily married 10 years, and everybody goes, oh, and I go to 3 different women, but I'm really happy. Like, you trade them in every 3 years like a car. But now I've been with my wife. Let's have a look. So we met in 2013.
Nice.
We got engaged in 2015, and we got married. This is if I ever get Alzheimer's. We got married in 2016. So we've been married now together for 7 years, married for 4, I guess.
Good for you. When we come back after the break, I want to talk about escapology. Because I know that was definitely a change for you, but it's you're frightening people like Simon Cowell. So we'll be back after the break with Matt Johnson.
Life is a journey, and everybody's going somewhere. Why wait for the fun to start when you reach your destination? With TAD Travel, the fun starts the moment you leave your door, wherever you're going, and however you want to get there. We've got it covered. TAD Travel. We're going places. Are you coming with us?
And we're back with part two, and Matt Johnson. Well, that was one of the most interesting breaks between part one and part two we've ever had. Interesting stuff.
I took my pants off for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Terry's like, "Where do you keep your magic wand?" I said, "I'll show you."
Absolutely. Well, look, we're here with Matt, and we talked to you about escapology. I remember when Simon Cowell pretty much gasped, stood up and went, "Hang on a second, this is a bit, what's happening here?" Tell us about that, Matt. What was it like?
Well, I'm going to try and give you the really short version because this is a really long story, but I'm going to give you the really short version. I went on Britain's Got Talent 2018, did the water tank, changed my life. I got to the semi-finals, and it really changed my life. And actually, I'm happy I got to the semi-finals and no further, because if I'd have got further, I'd signed a contract to, Psycho Entertainments and all that. Whereas I nailed it just right, because I got all the interest, I got all the people watching, I got all the stuff out of it, but then I went off as my own as my own entity. So that worked really well for me, because it allowed me to do other TV shows, stuff like that. But a lot of people don't know that I was trying to get on Britain's Got Talent for 5 years. I was sending in video auditions as a magician. And then it wasn't until 2017 that I'd been working on this water escape for about a year. And I sent in a video and they said yes. But a lot of people don't know, I actually went in 2017. And I had to pay my own money. It cost me like $6,000 in shipping and hotels. And I went, and the day of filming, I was on stage in rehearsals and my water tank shattered on stage.
Wow.
It shattered. I mean, it flooded the set. It shut production down. There was water everywhere. I was injured. I was devastated. I actually got really depressed out of that, which is something I struggled with for a while there. And I came home, and my dream, after 5 years of trying to go and all this money spent, my dreams were done. And so the same year, in 2017, I was supposed to go on Penn and Teller Foolers. Well, a month later, I had no tank. I was terrified of the tank. So then about a week, and then I got this tattoo done. Here, never give up. That's the date that the accident happened, and the water. And I got this tattoo done. And then, I looked at it every day, and I got another water tank built, cost me $5,000. I went and did Penn and Teller, and then I kept emailing Britain's Got Talent, and they didn't get back to me. And then after about 20, 30 emails, they finally said, "Fine, come back." And so I went back in 2018, which is when you all saw what happened, which was a moment that changed my life. I mean, it has literally changed my life. And even now, 2 years later, I've been getting calls. We've got 3 calls in right now for TV shows and talent shows. I mean, it's just the most incredible thing. So, if anything from that, I always say to people, never give up. Through adversity, just keep going. Stuff's going to happen. Keep kicking down doors. Just keep doing it. And if you've got the tenacity and you've got the drive, it will happen. It's as simple as that.
No, you're absolutely right. Life is not a sprint; it's a marathon, and it's especially appropriate what you're saying in the times we're going through right now. Just never give up. There'll be another side of this. So you make the decision to go in a tank and try to kill yourself with water. And how long are you under that water for?
It depends. The first time I ever did it in a theatre show, it was 1:50. Britain's Got Talent was 2:10. Last year when I did the world's best with James Corden and Drew Barrymore and stuff, that was 2:32. That was really tough. When I'm in the Illusionists in the bigger tank, usually it's 3:15. Now, what you have to understand, Terry, Nick, what you have to understand is the reason for my success. There's other people done the work. Look at my face there, right? The reason for my success is because the audience go on the journey with me and they can tell it's real, because it is real. The pain's real, the fear's real, because I can't. In the early days when I was practicing breath holding, I got myself up to 4.5 minutes underwater. But The second I went from a swimming pool into a locked water tank, that went down to like 30 seconds, and I freaked out. I now can comfortably maybe get to a minute 5, minute 10, and then everything after that is a fight. It's like if you're in a swimming pool and you feel that moment where you've got to come up and get air, that's a contraction. That's your first contraction. In my water tank escape, I will generally hit 20, 30 contractions, no word of a lie. And that's just me getting to that point and then swallowing inside my body and getting there again and swallowing again and just forcing myself to do it. And it's not an exact science. Like, I filmed a TV show last year. I can't say what it was because it will never air. But I was filming in front of 1,000 people for a TV show, and I was doing the headbox escape that you showed a picture of there. Yeah. And I didn't get out. I actually passed out and I drowned and ended up in trauma.
Wow.
And that's the first time it's ever happened, and it will never happen again. But I learned something from that, and that is that I got so complacent, and I'm just like, it's going to hurt, but I'll get it over with. And then I made mistakes, and it cost me. It could have cost me my life. So I now have really learned something from that, come through that, and it's made me a stronger performer and have this much higher respect for what I do, because ultimately it is dangerous. And listen, people say to me all the time, well, I can hold my breath 2 minutes, 3 minutes. The second you go in a small space like that and chain yourself up and the lid locks shut, your heart rate rises, you pump blood faster, your oxygen goes down. It is the worst place you can possibly imagine. So it's an art and it's a skill, and I'm not the only guy that can do it, but it just takes a lot of training and confidence that you're going to get when you're hurting, confidence that you're going to do your job and get out.
Wow. You know what? I am never, ever going to get anxious again about making the decision of what song to sing next.
Listen, you know what? The next time I'm in Arizona, when that happens, and we're bringing the tank, you guys bring your Speedos, and I'll let you get in.
Well, Matt, let me tell you now, if I wear my Speedo, that tank's going to shatter again.
Oh, please. It's like, if I wear, that tank's not big enough for me in my I will bust that tank. Come on now, please.
Oh, boy. So
don't get me started.
So there you are. You're on Britain's Got Talent, the thing that really turned your career and made all of this happen. But so what's next for you? You talked about pain. Have you got anything lined up for future shows?
Yeah, I'm working on a few things. You see, being in The Illusionists, mostly what I've done in there is the water escape. That's what I'm known for. But they like my style. They like the look. So they're looking for other things. So I've been working on a few things. I've got a fish hook roulette where I put a fish hook in my mouth, and one of them's tied to a string, and I've got like 3 other strings, and people have to pull them at random. Oh. And then hopefully the one that's left is the fish hook. That's that picture there, actually, the pink picture. I'm working on a version of the nail stab thing. There was a thing where magicians have done it wrong and they've stabbed their hands on nails, and I'm working on that. And I'm working on actually this. We talked about this. I'm working on this. This is not the full escape. This is an ice bucket with fish hooks attached, right?
Yeah.
But the idea is that there's a. Well, I'm not going to tell you the whole idea, because here's the thing about our business. You give an idea out, and magicians are the worst. It's like steal from the best and do it better, right? Yeah. So I'm not going to tell you what the escape is, but it involves hanging a champagne bucket from my eyelids with fish hooks. Oh. And I'll do it for you now. Yeah, it hurts a lot, actually. Yeah, it's not fun. I can think of a lot more fun things to do. Like getting married and divorced twice. I've done that. So Vegas taught me this, actually, and I'd seen him do it, but I knew I wanted to turn it into an escape of sorts. So that's kind of what I'm working on, but it's never been in a live show yet. And I actually haven't hung this off we were talking earlier, but I haven't hung this off my eyes for 5 months. So why I even brought it up to you is beyond me.
Oh my God.
But it's like anything. It's repetition, right? This is another thing. It's like the water tank. This doesn't get easier. It hurts every time. And right now I've got nothing in the ice bucket, so it's not, but it's heavy, and but it's one of those things you just got to do. You got to push past the pain threshold. So I've not done this. So it actually doesn't go in the sockets. It hangs off the flesh, Terry, are you going to send me out on cruise ships again if I do this now?
Oh my God!
Okay, so it's there. Now you can't see the ice bucket, but when I lift, this is a lot of pain and a lot of weight just on the flesh of the eyelids.
Oh my God! Oh Jesus Christ!
There you go.
Jesus!
So let's carry on the interview.
Well, you look a lot better.
You know what you look like? You look like Droopy. You know?
My God!
Going down.
Yeah, you know what? That's not helping right now. You're supposed to say things that drive my ego right now. Hey kids, stay in school. My mom's so proud. My son's a lawyer. My son hangs fish hooks from his eyelids. Oh, you're so lucky. Yeah. So this is hurting like I can't do it anymore. Actually.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God! I could not do that. Matt, that hurts.
A lot. Yes. Welcome to my life. It hurts a lot. You know. Listen. Be careful what you choose to do for a living, kids. You know, stay in school. Be smart. Because I ain't got no choice. You know. I mean, this is what I gotta do. But I mean, joking aside, I still love magic. I still do a lot of magic. But the escapes are something that people expect. So even if I do a 45-minute magic show, I've still got to put something in there that's dangerous or that's on the edge of your seat stuff or that's emotional, because that's what people have come to expect from me. It's tough, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, other than Harry Houdini, is there anybody in the history of magic that has influenced you in your career or just you followed?
No.
No.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Houdini wasn't a big inspiration for me, funnily enough. I've got posters here. But when I was a kid, I had some Houdini posters on my bedroom wall. Absolutely. And I did a little bit of it as a kid. In fact, you can see here, these are newspaper clippings from Sheffield when I was a kid, right, where I got chains and stuff. But then I never did it again until like 3 years ago. One of my biggest influences, for sure, was Paul Daniels.
Yes.
Because Paul Daniels was a true vaudeville entertainer, right? He would do comedy, he would do card tricks, he would saw somebody in half, he would do the big stuff, the small stuff. He was a consummate entertainer. So to me, that's the way I grew up in magic, right? Like a lot of kids today grow up in it, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but they grow up practicing one thing. I'm going to be an escape artist. I'm going to be a juggler. I'm going to be a close-up guy. Whereas back in the day, that's what vaudeville was. You know, it was about entertaining people. So Paul Daniels, for sure, huge influence on me. A Vegas magician called Lance Burton.
Yeah.
I had posters of him as a kid. I never saw him live, but huge influence. Michael Jackson, huge influence on me, just from his timing and his performance and his kind of just this inherent desire to have everything on the minute, on the millisecond, so professional. You know, that for me, I'll watch Michael Jackson videos on YouTube all day long. Like, just a huge influence on me. But other people like David Copperfield and stuff, not really. That was never my thing. David Copperfield for me was too Vegas, too flash, too scripted. Yeah. Whereas for me, Paul Daniels, even if it wasn't scripted, always felt unscripted.
Yeah.
Same as Tommy Cooper was a big influence. Monty Python was a big influence. The two Ronnies, these are a lot of English greats. Morecambe and Wise. You know, that vaudeville feeling of look, it's not about me doing tricks. It's about people. It's about the connection between people. That's where the magic is. And as soon as for me, one thing I learned very late on that I do now in my show is it's all relatable to my life and to my stories, because those stories and those things in my life are the same for everybody else in my audience. We all had a grandma that we loved. We all went on road trips as a kid, on holiday. We all, you know, so the second you become relatable and you kind of interact with the audience on that level, that's where the magic happens for me. It's not about people remember people, not tricks. Unless you hang a champagne bucket from your eye sockets, people will probably remember that. But.
You're absolutely right. And you know, the name Tommy Cooper has come up so many times on this show.
Yeah. Incredible. My dad recorded every episode for me. I had Tommy Cooper props. You know, Tommy Cooper used to do a thing where he'd walk out on stage with a gate on 2 gate posts, and he'd walk around stage for 5 minutes, and then he'd put it down, he'd open it, and walk through, and that was it. That was the gag. And I had a gate. I had Tommy Cooper props. You know, Tommy Cooper always said, you know, I was told go to Vancouver, it's good for arthritis, so I went and I got it. You know, that's Tommy Cooper. Like that. He was so good, man, and that is just a lot of that English comedy to me has got that split-second timing that is just so integral to being a performer. Yeah,
we watch it all the time. You won't know this, but I played piano for Tommy Cooper for about 2.5 years. Toured with him.
Are you serious?
Yeah, back in the late 70s. And you only play one song. You play Sheik of Araby, and that's all you play, and you sit there and laugh. The whole band.
Right.
But
he had the bit where he'd be sat behind an organ. You remember that? He'd be like playing like this, and then he'd stand up and walk through it. And there was no organ there. There was no, you know, or his piano bit where he sang the falling leaves, and leaves would start to flutter. And at the end, there was just stacks of millions of leaves on his piano, you know, just dumping from the roof. He's just a genius, a comedy genius.
One of the most naturally funny men I've ever met. He was incredible. This has been a great show. We could honestly be on here for hours. We've touched on a few things.
Let's do it!
Yeah, I think so. I think let's. You don't have a water tank full of water there by any chance, do you?
No, I'm doing this interview for free, so you would have had to pay for that. I can fill this up with water and stuff my head in it if you like.
We have one question that we ask every guest on TADTalk. Matt, I'm going to ask you now. If you could spend the next 60 minutes with any 2 people, dead or alive, it could be family, friends, celebrities, historical figures, anyone, and take them and go somewhere, anywhere in the world, who would you like to spend the next hour with? Where would you go, and what would you talk about?
Wow, that's a tough one. Sure, my grandma. Yeah. My grandma was a very big influence on my life. My grandma was a singer, and she actually tried out for a show called My Kind of People with Michael Barrymore back in the day.
Yeah.
I know he fell out of favor a bit, but yeah, she was on that. She tried out for that show. I have a photo of her here in my office trying out for that show on TV. I'm going to show you. Hang on. And this is something that I hold near and dear. There it is. There's my grandma on stage, and there's Michael Barrymore right there.
Nice.
My Kind of People. So when she did this, she said to me, "You've got to do your magic and try out." And so she'd have been so proud of me. That's the main reason I wanted to do Britain's Got Talent. So my grandma, for sure. I lost her way too soon. I miss her every single day, and she's one of the greatest women in my life ever.
Good.
And I think the other one's tough. You know, I think I'd actually pick Michael Jackson, to be honest.
Okay.
Because and if I could meet them both, I think it'd probably be in Neverland, because I always thought that looked like a really cool place. But cool. I think Michael Jackson, because of he was a consummate professional. I'd love to just stand in a room with him, not be about all the fame and all that, and just work on choreography and pick his brain and just get into that, because that's what you really need to learn. Not tricks are a dime a dozen. So I think that would be it. My grandma and Michael Jackson in Neverland.
Who would do all the talking?
Oh, me, of course.
No one get a word in edgeways. What a brilliant show this has been. Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, it's been great.
It's been great. Episode 99. You just missed that prize for 100, but it's been great.
Nick.
Yeah.
Name a card. Name a card.
9 of clubs.
Should have finished where I left off. That was the worst trick ever. Out of all the tricks I've ever done, that was the most recent. That was a good one.
I'm going to finish the show by telling you the greatest trick I've been a part of. Okay, and you will, I'm sure, know how this happened, but I don't know. Well, we had a restaurant here in Peoria, and we had our opening night, and we hired a magician, and I can't remember his name, but I will. I'll try and remember before the end of the show. But he came out from LA. He had never been to the restaurant because the restaurant was just open. And he was going to do a private party for some of the owners and investors and stuff. But part of the preliminary was when the VIPs were there, he was going to walk around and do close-up stuff. He came into the front door, getting out of the taxi, and he asked for me. And I came up to him, met him, and we walked into the main room, and he said, pick a card. And I can't remember what card I picked. And he said, that woman at the bar there with that fur coat kind of thing on, it's in her inside left-hand pocket. And walked over to the woman, and the woman was, whether she knew him, it was an actress, I don't know, but she pulled open the coat, and my card, the only card, was in that coat. And I was blown away.
Didn't you wonder why she was wearing a big coat with 52 pockets?
In Arizona.
In Arizona. Could be.
You know, I started magic because my sister used to charge $50 a trick, and I thought that's a really good living. So I'm going to do that, and yeah. No, I listen, man. You know what? I've been working with you guys on cruise ships for many years, and you know, it's just been a pleasure, and I miss it so much. And I know it's hard for you guys. It's hard for everybody in the business right now. All my brothers and sisters out there that are performers. We just want to get back to it. We all want to be back to where we were, and you know, we haven't spent nearly enough time together. So this was an absolute pleasure and an honor, and the best way to spend my Thursday morning.
Brilliant. Well, it's great being here with you, Matt. You've been a great guest. This is episode 99. Tomorrow's our big 100. Our guest on the show tomorrow. We're excited about it. She's been voted the world's greatest psychic medium from Scotland. It's June Field. And who's going to be the guest? I'm hoping it's my mum, but my mum passed away 8 years ago, so you never know. But we'll be back for episode 100 tomorrow with June Field. Episode 99, well, it's proved to be a really good one. And thank you, Matt Johnson, for being the guest. It's been so
My pleasure,
fun.
guys. My pleasure. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having
Nick,
me.
thank you. Love the jacket again.
Thank you.
Will do. Take care, everybody. We'll see you on another episode of TAD Talk.